Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife, Karina from Venezuela. It's 6 p.m. Central Time, January the 22nd, 2025, and it's time for the K1 Visa Green Card, Spousal Visa, Tourist Visa live stream. This is the place you can come hang out with us and find out the answers to all those pressing questions you have regarding your K1 Visa application, etc. Now, we know you have questions, and I give you all this information for free. I mean, you can't beat it, right? But remember, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you any legal advice, and I don't work for USCIS. So, with that said, I do have 10 years experience processing K1 visas, green cards, etc., spousal visas. And Karina, she got her green card on June 25th, 2025. 2024, excuse me. I'm going forward in time. So Karina got her green card last June. And today we're snowed in for the first time in 130 years. The panhandle's been decimated with snow. And everybody's having a heart attack because of the snow. Now, I was in New York City, in Staten Island specifically, in April of 1982, and they had the blizzard of 82. And everybody still got up for work. Everybody did their laundry, and they went on the bus, and they got the taxi. Everybody did their thing. But here in this part of Florida, when there's a bit of snow, everything closes. All the stores, everything shuts down. Nobody drives. Nobody knows how to drive in the snow. I mean, seriously. Nobody knows how to drive in the snow here in the Panhandle of Florida. So guess what? Everybody stays inside, which is a good thing, I guess, because you get to spend time with family. But now that's our cat, Vinny. Vinny Cara is crying or screaming out the window because it's all snow outside. And Vinny's like, she's looking out the window today going, what the heck? Where's the grass? The tree's all white. What's going on? She's never seen snow. Karina's never seen snow before. This was the first day Karina's ever seen snow in her whole life. Okay? And she was making snow angels in the garden. Right? There you go. Francois Livingston is first up to bat. Good evening, Diego and Karina, all the way from one snowy state to another. It's not supposed to snow here. Okay? And I'll give New York State credit. They know how to handle snow when it snows. They know how to handle it. Here in the Panhandle of Florida, we're not supposed to get snow. The last time it snowed like this was 130 years ago. Now, I'm just going by what the internet says. I wasn't around 130 years ago. I'm not testifying to me remembering that. But it is what it is. But it's going to be gone by tomorrow. So we have 2 days of about 6 inches of snow here. I don't know, about 10 inches in New Orleans, and Pensacola was pretty snowed in. So anyway, who cares, right? Snow is snow. It's just frozen water. But everybody's panicking here. Oh, look at the snow. Oh, no, what are we going to do? Oh, what are you going to do? Go to work. Well, we can't go to work. Everything is so cold. Cold? It's 31 degrees. What's cold? Cold is minus 50. Bethlehem Gurma. Good evening, Diego and Karina. What's going on, Bethlehem? How are you? How's everybody's family? Francois, how is Hamid doing? How is he doing? Is he hanging in there? Is he making it through a winter in New York? Okay, now I don't like snow. I can't stand snow. Okay, if I want to see snow, well, now I just look out the freaking window. But if I want to see snow, I Google it. Okay? So, here it is. We're snowed in. The car's in the garage, which is good. And we're going to do a live stream and answer all your questions. So you can't beat it. And Bethlehem is doing good. Well, that's good. And we hope Francois is doing good. We hope everybody's doing good. Okay? We don't want anybody to be stressing out this green card process, this K1 visa application. Now, Karina got her green card in June of 2024. So that means her 2-year green card will expire in June of 2026. So that means in March of 2026, we have to lift the conditions off of her 2-year green card. We have to lift the conditions. You don't renew a 2-year green card. It's non-renewable. it's 2 years and it's done. Then it's no good anymore. You have to lift the conditions. So you got to build evidence, right, of your 2-year green card. You got to collect evidence over the 2 years, and then you apply for the 10-year green card. And this is what we have collected so far. This is Karina's evidence for her 10-year green card for the first year in Florida, right here. Okay. Now, when you put this 10-year green card package together, the first thing you're going to put a cover letter in here, okay, listing everything. You got to put a cover letter together, and then you're going to put the marriage certificate in there. But before you put that, the first thing you want to put in here is to check. So I'm going to write a check to USCIS, to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Okay, and right now it's $750, I think, to lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card. Then I'm going to write a check to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. That's the first thing you put in this binder right here. Okay, that's on the top. And then you got the cover letter, and then you got the marriage certificate, and then you have let's see, Karina's driver's license. Karina's green card, front and back, a copy of her green card, blown up nice and big. Okay, and then her passport, biographic page, blown up nice and big in color. And then my passport, blown up nice and big, the biographic page. Okay, and then Karina's birth certificate translated into English. Right here it is. The approval notice, the I-797 approving her first green card application. And then here's her military ID. And then here's her driver's license and my driver's license. And then here's her here's the title to the car with our names on it. And then here's her health insurance with the military. And then here's her name on the deed to the house. And then here's a certified translation of her college degree in tax accounting. And then we go into the receipts, the bills. She's on the water bill, like, right here. You put them on the bills. Her name is on the bills, etc. And then he goes into the bill, and then we have her on the mail coming to the house. And I mean, it's just packed with stuff. If you need help putting together a 10-year green card application, this should be your first year right here. And I'll help you do it. Just like I'll help you put your green card package together for the 10-year or the 2-year or for the K1 visa. Let me see here. Francois Hamid is doing well, and he honestly loves the weather in New York. Wait a second. Hold on a second. You're telling me this fine young man from Morocco, who's used to hot weather and desert, likes freaking New York snow? Serious? Well, that is a Mountain Dew salute. I'm going to give you Hamid a Mountain Dew salute, okay? Because I lived in New York, and I was in the blizzard of '82, and it sucked. To Hamid, well, good, bless his heart. I'm glad he loves the weather in New York. The Mountain Nomads. Hey, Diego and Karina. What's going on? The Mountain Nomads is on point. Let's see here. Francois, Hamid goes for his physical next week. Got to repeat the medical exam. You got to repeat the medical exam when you get to America. You arrive in the United States. You got to repeat the medical exam for your green card. I don't care if you just had it 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago in Colombia or Peru or Argentina or the United Arab Emirates or wherever, Egypt, wherever you are. Repeat it in America with a civil surgeon authorized by the State Department, or you'll get an RFE, maybe a denial. So he goes for his physical next week. He finished his vaccine requirement yesterday. Oh, okay, well, ouch. Do you know if COVID vaccine is mandatory for green card? It is as of now. He had the first one and the booster during COVID. Well, then he's good if he had the booster. Right now, it's mandatory. But then again, Trump hasn't got that far yet. I think President Trump's going to eliminate the need for a mandatory COVID vaccine for a green card. I mean, it's like, I really think he's going to do that. But he hasn't done it yet. But I'll let you know when he does, okay? So get it now. He's got to make sure the civil surgeon looks at his vaccination record to make sure he's fully up to date. You don't want to go through all this paperwork and then have it sent back to you because of a missing vaccination. So the civil surgeon's got to do the medical, look at the vaccination records and have them recertify it, okay? And then that's half the battle right there. Plus prove he's got health insurance. Francois, I added Hammond to the water bill and they're sending me an invoice next week with his name on it. Well, that's a Mountain Dew salute. Francois, you're top of the class again today for the green card class. He's on the invoice to the water bill. Very good. Excuse me. International Sean. That's a cool name. International Sean. That's like a world traveler right there. Hello, sir. Now, my dad is Sir. I'm Diego. My dad, man, that Mountain Dew hit me. My dad is Sir. He lives in Thailand. Okay. Hello, Diego. Thanks for your information. You're very welcome. At the medical appointment before the interview at the embassy, do they give her all the vaccines at the appointment? No. You don't get 15 vaccinations all at one time. You need to get your beneficiary. She needs to look at her vaccination record, okay, and see what and find out what's required for the K1 visa. Okay, you got to get Karina. Her mom couldn't find her vaccination record. Well, I don't blame her. Her mom lives in Venezuela, okay, in Caracas. So it's kind of hard to find stuff there. When the government uploads something, who knows where it goes? If they have electricity, or if they have water, or if they have internet. So I sent Karina $400 and I said, hey, go and get your vaccinations in Bogota, Colombia, piecemeal by piecemeal. So once a week, she go get her vaccinations. I think started in July of 2023, and then she completed them in November of 2023. She had one I think you had a vaccination at the interview, at the COVID, at the medical exam. So you want to space the vaccinations out over a period of about 4 or 5 months. Excuse me. I'm allergic to snow. This snow is killing me. You got to space the vaccinations out, okay, over a period of time. Like Karina did it over 5 months. And then when she got to the United States, the doctor looked at her vaccination records from Colombia and signed off on it. And she's good. Okay? That's how it works, okay? Let's see here. The medical appointment, she won't get international insurance. It's not a good idea to get all the vaccinations at one time. You got to space them out. The Mountain Nomads. So, Diego, my K1 visa interview is coming up soon. Right. I remember. Morocco, right? On February 11th, a very exciting moment. Next month. Not much longer. A very exciting moment for us. But I have a question, Diego, that I'm a bit worried about. What are you worried about? Come on, Mountain Nomads. Do you know how much mega pixie dust I have here? Look how much. I mean, the blue pixie dust was like this. Now it's mega pixie dust. Okay, this is going to be for you all over your interview. Okay. Let me see here. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Mountain Nomads. You're a bit worried. Don't be worried. Francois, yep, they have snow in his hometown in Morocco. So he's kind of used to snow. Okay. I could never get used to snow. When I was in New York City, I didn't get used to snow. I dreaded it. I can't stand it. I like to look at it. But here's my beautiful wife, Karina. She's having a ball. She loved it. She's like, man, I've never seen this before. She's never seen snow before. What an honor to be with me for the first time she got to do a snow angel in the backyard. Okay, the Mountain Nomads. The mailing address we put on the I-129F is different than the one we put on the DS-160 because the new address is the address where we intend to live on my arrival to the U.S. Okay, that's fine. You can move, but That, make sure that that address is on the I-134 also. You got to put the new address on the DS-160 and on the I-134, the Declaration of Financial Support. Make sure that address is there too. And then you have an explanation as to what happened while you moved. On page 10 of the USCIS form I-134, on page 10, you can put an explanation that you moved during the K-1 visa process, and this is your new home address. You gotta explain it. And you can explain it on the I-134 and the DS-160. Well, that's where you put your new address. You don't explain it on the DS-160. You explain it on the I-134, which is the Declaration of Financial Support. But you can do that. You can move. But when you file for the 2-year green card, make sure you use your current address and don't move anymore. Chris and Emil, bank statements on Xerox or regular paper? Well, Xerox is regular paper. That's a copy. You can just make a copy on Xerox paper, which is regular paper. It does, a copy machine is a copy machine, right? Tamara, good evening, Diego and Karina. I have a question. Tengo una pregunta. Can I submit previous tax returns that do not meet the requirement for the income guidelines? If you can. My most recent one is over $12,000 for a household of 3. Okay, but you need a joint sponsor. If you make $12,000 a year, which is fine, you're going to need a joint sponsor to make up the difference. For a household of 3, you got to make at least $31,000 a year. Immigration says it's $25,550 right in there. But what I'm saying is you got to have somebody that makes at least $30,000 to $31,000 a year for a family of 3 to avoid an RFE for a joint sponsor. Okay, you're over 12,000. You got to be over 30,000. You want to be at around $30,000 to $35,000 for a family of 3 to avoid an RFE. You're over 40,000. Well, then you're good. I'm on the Price is Right. This is like I'm on the Price is Right. And I'm trying to win that prize, and the thing's going up in the air, and I'm saying 20,000, 30,000, 40. Stop. 40,000 is good. That's very good. That's for your last tax return, right? The Mountain Nomads, but she hasn't changed her address yet, and she still has her previous address for everything, and I'm going for the interview. Will it be an issue? But you got to change it on the I-134. Mountain Nomads, the I-134, okay, you can write on the I-134, you just can't sign it. The I-134 is created and signed by the sponsor. Okay, the I-134 is saying that Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, I'm going to take care of my beneficiary when he or she arrives in America. Okay, but you can put on the back of the I-134 a note. You can add a note and say, this is my new address in the United States. My sponsor moved. Or I don't say my sponsor, but this is our new address in the United States, and fill it out on the I-134 in the extra space part area. There's a place where you can add information when things change. I mean, life is life. Things change, right? Things happen. People move. Just put it on the I-134. JK1 time. Hey Diego, hope you're doing good. We're good. Do we fill the form I-693 by pen or by computer? No, the medical exam, the paperwork for the medical exam is filled out by the doctor at the civil surgeon's office. JK1 time. The I-693 is the medical exam paperwork. The civil surgeon administrative assistant fills it out in a computer at the office where you go for the medical exam in the United States. Okay, the 693 is also filled out by computer. When Karina had a medical exam in Bogota, they did it in computer in the medical exam office. Francois, the water company is about the only utility company that will put his name on the invoice. Okay, that's fine. The Mountain Nomads, the interview is in Casablanca, Morocco. Wish us luck. We're putting Mecca pixie dust all over that. You're going to be just fine. Mountain Nomads, you're going to be perfectly fine. JK1 time. Also, my medical exam is tomorrow, so if the doctor asks me, to do vaccinations again, do I do it? I have my vaccine. No, you don't have to repeat your vaccinations as long as they're current and up to date. When you did it 3 months ago, you're good. But let the civil surgeon make the decision on what's more. If you need any more vaccinations than what you already have, you can get them in the United States. They're not gonna block you from your K1 visa because you don't have completed all your vaccination requirements. You can finish them up in the USA, but it's just a lot cheaper to get them done overseas. The $400 I spent for Karina's vaccinations in Bogota, Colombia would have cost me $1,500 here in Florida. So it was a good business decision for us to do it in Colombia. Chris and ML, I think I remember you said it about have a regular copy. Just use copy paper. But on bank statements, does it have to be copies? You can make copies of the bank statements. You can do that. I'm not. When a bank statement comes in the mail, I mark out the account numbers and I highlight the deposits and I just stick it in the green card application. The original bank statement. I mean, that's what I'm doing. You can do it. You can make copies if you want to, though, but make sure you mark out the account numbers and you highlight the direct deposits. Immigration want to see the money coming into your bank. And direct deposit is how they can see it. When Karina gets paid from her job, it's direct deposit. When I get paid, it's direct deposit. And then it shows up on the bank statement, direct deposit, DFAS, the Defense Finance and Accounting. And then I highlight it all. And you want to have at least, I would say, 15 months worth of bank statements with both names on the bank statements when you lift the conditions off of the 2-year green card. The Mountain Nomads. Yes, we will put the new address on the I-134. There you go. You've got this, Mountain Nomads. I'm glad you're on the channel today because I'm helping you get through this without any stress at all, right? You can do it. Tamara, last tax return is 40K plus. There you go. You qualify. The Mountain Nomads, but she rents a camper, which we are fine with. That's okay. But she got the landlord allowance to change her address. So their address, because of you're using the address of the land of where the camper's at on the property. And when we move to an apartment later on, you can do that. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly good to do that. International Sean, Diego, my fiance lives in Medellin, Colombia. Well, that's a Mountain Dew salute for Colombia. Karina lived in Colombia 6 years. I lived in Colombia almost 3 years. But we have to go to Bogota for the medical exam. That's correct. And the scary visa interview. Everything's in Bogota, Colombia. Does all her vaccinations need to be before the interview? No. If she doesn't have all of her vaccinations done, you can do them in America. The doctor, the civil surgeon in Bogota, Dr. Dennis, I believe his name is, or the other person, I can't remember his name. They will ask you, they're going to say to you, hey, you're like too short. They told Karina, hey, you're one vaccination short. It's a booster. You can do it here in Bogota, or you can do it in the United States. Where do you want to do it? And Karina said, where do we do this? I said, do it here. I said, do it right here. In Bogota, it's $25. It would have cost $75 for the booster here, or maybe $100. So you can get them done in Bogota. It's easy to do. There's plenty of places you can get the vaccinations done in Bogota. Or, if there's just a few that you're missing, have the doctor do it at the medical exam. So relax on it, International Sean. And a salute to Medellin and everybody, to your fiance in Medellin and to Colombia. The Mountain Nomads, thank you so much, Diego. We're here for you, Mountain Nomads. Mountain Nomads, it's almost close to Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew Nomads. Mountain Nomads, we're going to get you through this. Shiku, still no receipt for my approved notice, I-765. My approval was the 19th of January. So that's the 22nd of January. So that's what, 19, 20, 21, 20. Give it another few days, Shiku. You're good. You're still in the window of time. You're fine. International Sean, how did you get the correct address for the doctors in Bogota for the medical exam? The embassy will send you an email. It's called a packet 1, packet 2, packet 3 email. God, I must remember that. You get an email from the U.S. Embassy in Bogota. And in that email, it tells you the location and the names of the doctors who are civil surgeons who are authorized by the U.S. government to do medical exams in Colombia. Specifically on the 9th floor of the medical office. Was it the 9th floor? Yeah, the 9th floor of the medical office in Bogota, Colombia. And it's in northern Bogota. The office is in northern Bogota. You get an email, K1FT, that's a K1 packet 3 packet 4 email. I got the packet 3 packet 4 email. In order to schedule the medical exam, your beneficiary is going to need to have the list of travelers, which comes from the National Visa Center. You got to have the email, the K1 FTP email, which is the list of travelers. You get an email from the embassy giving you directions on who the doctor is, where it is, where the exam is, etc. So my advice to you is to email the MVC and ask for the K1 FTP email if you haven't received it yet, because you got to get the list of travelers. And you could also ask the embassy, email the embassy and ask them for the instructions on how to schedule the visa interview and the medical exam and all that jazz. It's all an email from the embassy in Bogota and from the National Visa Center. Okay? So how did I get it? It came to me in an email from the embassy. I'm like, hey, check this email out. Oh, this is the email on how to do this and how to do that, and go into U.S. travel docs and then pay the consular fee of $265. And then a calendar opens up and you can look for an open spot to schedule the visa interview and the biometrics. Now, when you pay the consular fee of $265, okay, it includes the biometrics is included in that payment, and you can use your credit card to pay the consular fee because it's such a small amount of money. But do not use your credit card. Do not use your credit card to pay for the green card, 2-year green card, and to pay for the K1 visa application. Don't do it. You're going to get problems with your bank 9 times out of 10. You know that commercial that says 9 doctors out of 10 say this is good if you do this. Well, Diego's saying 9 times out of 10, your bank's going to stop the payment if you use a credit card. Pay by check or cashier's check for your green card application and your K1 visa application. And Sean, International Sean, you're going to have to look for those emails from the embassy. If you don't have them, email the embassy and ask them. In the subject line of the email to the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, put the receipt number that you have from the NOA2 letter, the approval, so they can find your case a lot quicker. And then in the body of the email, put your fiance's passport number, her full name, her nationality, date of birth, and address. Okay, you got all that? I had to do all this. Corinne and I have been there, done that. We know what it is. And it's not fun, especially if you're from Medellin, and then you got to fly to Bogota, and then you got to find a hotel, and then you got to go to the medical exam. Now, you got to pay cash, efectivo, for the medical exam, for the physical. When you go for your physical, when she has her physical in Bogota at the doctor's office, she's got to get these special passport photos made. ¿Cuánto passport? Get 4 passport photos, but they're bigger than passport photos. Okay? It's in the instructions. It's in the instructions in the email. You got to get these large passport photos. There's 4 of them. Okay? And you need that email to be able to know what to do. So what I would do is email the embassy and ask them for that packet 3, packet 4 email. You won't get that until you have the ready status though from the embassy. Francois Livingston, taking your advice and doing the 2024 taxes. There you go. And mailing it as part of the green card package. Look at you, Francois. And putting his name. You're going to be a joint filer, right? Mailing it as part of the green card package. Thank you for your phenomenal advice. Hey, that's a Mountain Dew salute for Francois right there. We're going to get you through this. You know, this is Karina's 10-year green card application. Okay, this is 1 year. And it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And in March, I put on the front right here the date. That is the first day I can file this application. And it's March 25th, 2026. The soonest I can file for Karina's removal of conditions is March 25th, 2026. And I put it in big letters right on the front. Now, when I get to March 25th, 2026, I'm going to review this and whatever else is in here with a fine-tooth comb. I'm going to check everything. No mistakes in spellings, no passport number errors, no transposed numbers. Don't forget to sign the paperwork. And when you sign when I sign the form, when we sign jointly, it's a joint application. When you lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card, it's a joint application with Karina and I. We both have to sign it because we're both doing this together. Okay. So that's what you always want to be planning 2 years ahead, and then 3 years ahead for U.S. citizenship. Okay. Francois, good job, Francois. Jay called one time. He told us to fill up the 14-page form and bring it with you. Who told you to fill up a 14-page form? The Mountain Nomads. What's the best answer for the age gap? If the interviewer asked me that question, there was a big age gap with us, and the question didn't even come up. Because the K1 visa package I put together was so freaking strong. We've been living together for almost 3 years. There was no question. But if the question comes up about age, you say, well, love has no boundaries, right? You can say, well, the age was irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant. Well, I didn't even think about it. You're in love with each other. That's all that matters. And if you're in a relationship that's strong, what's the best answer for the age gap? I'd say, I didn't even think about it. It's never come up because it's never been a question in my mind. It's never been anything I've ever been concerned about. And I'm talking for me and Karina. I'm talking for us. It's irrelevant. The age is not relevant. Let's suppose it came up for Karina. Karina, what's the problem? You got a big age gap between Diego and yourself. Karina would say, it's irrelevant. It doesn't come into my mind. It doesn't enter into my mind, right? Mm-hmm. You see, it doesn't matter. That's the best answer right there. It never comes up because it's irrelevant. Because I don't think about it because we're not getting married because of an age gap. We're getting married because we love each other. Jake on one time also the adjustment of status that also I fill in the computer or by pen. By computer. Listen, guys, when you're going to fill out these forms, you can go into here. Let me see, uscis.gov/forms, right? You go in there and you look for your adjustment of status paperwork. You page down, you look for the USCIS form I-485. It takes you to a PDF, into a format where you can fill it out on the computer. Fill it out on the computer and then print it if you have a printer. If you don't have a printer, go to a library or to somewhere where they have a printer where you can sit down and fill it out. Just don't save it on that library computer. Bring a thumb drive with you and save it on a thumb drive. Don't save anything that's in a public space, public computer that's to do with this visa. And then whatever you can't fill out on the computer, you can use a black ink pen. When you sign the forms, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Beneficiary, you got to sign your full name in the best cursive you can imagine so immigration can read it. You don't want to sign your name like a doctor scribble. That's like Diego, D-R-R, in a big line, right? That's how I sign my name. But for paperwork for immigration, I did it in my 10th grade high school cursive signature. So immigration can read it. If immigration cannot read your signature, they will send your stuff back to you. Listen to me, guys. You can fill it out by pen or by computer, J1 time, but it's better and it's more professional if you do it by computer. Chris and Emil, do they need to see the amount of funds going into the account? Yes. Immigration need to know how much money's going into the account. That's how they determine whether you qualify for the benefit. When I gave Karina 12 months worth of my bank statements, because back then Karina wasn't on the account. It was just me. And I highlighted all of the deposits from the direct deposits. She had 12 months worth. I included those also in the K1 visa application. Even though it's not required, I included them. Why? Because it gives you backbone to your K1 visa application. You need backbone in the application so you win. So you're going to, this is a test of your relationship and how you can prove it. Immigration need evidence, but the financial stuff you don't have to prove till the embassy interview. But I included it in the K1 visa application, 12 months worth of bank statements. Immigration knew how much money I made and who was paying me what when. Okay, they also knew what I was buying at Walmart and what I was doing at Publix. But I couldn't care less. They weren't looking at that. They were looking at the direct deposits. They were looking at the bank account final tallies. Okay, they don't care what your bank account number is, and it's a good idea to block it out. But they do want to know how much money you make and where it's coming from. Okay, if you're cutting yards for $25 a yard and getting paid by cash, how can you prove it? Well, you deposit the money in the bank, $25 cash deposit. That's not helping immigration. They're gonna like, where you get this money from? Well, I cut grass. I made $5,000 cutting grass. Doesn't work that way. Okay, you got to have direct deposit from a legitimate source of income. Now, I'm not saying cutting grass is not legitimate, but it's not taxed, is it? How are you going to tax it? Immigration want to see tax returns and that you paid your taxes, and they want to see direct deposits on bank statements, and they want to see pay stubs from your employer. Only 6 months, because you can multiply that by 2 if you've been there for a year or longer. Okay, 6 months worth of pay stubs times 2 gives them an accurate reading on how much you make in a year. Okay, for the embassy interview, you got to be at 100% of the CDC requirements for minimum income, because a K1 visa is a non-immigrant temporary visa. That's what it is. A K1 visa is a temporary non-immigrant visa. You use it one time to fly to the United States of America, and then it goes away. Then it becomes no more. Then you're working off of an I-94, which you get from the Border Patrol, Customs and Border, whatever you want to call those guys, who do a fine job, by the way. And right now they're doing a fantastic job. Okay, you got it? So that's where we're at on that. Francois, we're glad we're here for you. I hope I answered your question, Mountain Nomads, on the age gap. To me, if that question came up, Karina would say, well, it's irrelevant. You know, it never crosses our mind. Let's see here. And Chris and Emil, they need to see the amount of money going into your bank account. Yes, they do. They want to see how much you make per month. Okay. Christopher Reese, good evening. Thank you so much for the I-134 video. You're very welcome. Now, the only thing I wanted to add to that video after I published it was put NA in the parts that are not irrelevant to you. Now, the I-134 paperwork is 10 pages long. And on page 6, it's totally not relevant to the K1 visa process. Okay? Page 1 through 5 is relevant. Page 7 through 10 is relevant. But page 6 doesn't pertain to a K1 visa application. But they threw it in there anyway. So you'd put NA, 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 NA in all those places that were not relevant. You don't want to leave anything blank on an immigration paperwork. If it doesn't pertain, you put NA. Okay? So that was the only thing that I missed on the video, but I put that video together so it makes it easier for you to fill out the I-134 instead of having to read through the USCIS instruction booklet, which is like, 20 pages long. and it's written like a master's degree. I made it simple for you guys. But you're welcome, Christopher. The Mountain Nomads and Diego, I have with me so many screenshots that proves of an ongoing relationship. There you go, with my fiance. And I don't care. I will bring as much as I can show. That's right. More mega pixie dust for you. Don't sweat this. Tony Cursley. Hey, got my NOA 1. Okay. Still haven't received my NOA 2. It's been 7 months. Should I be worried? No, Tony, don't be worried. It's like 6 to 9 months for NOA 2 letters. You got the NOA 1 letter. Try not to lose it. If you do lose it, okay, it's no big deal. But don't lose the NOA 2 letter. I'm not saying you will, but some people do. Hey, Diego, I lost my NOA 2 letter. What's on the NOA 2 letter? The approval of the K1 visa, number one, and you got to bring that copy. Your beneficiary needs to bring a copy of the NOA 2 letter to the visa interview. On the NOA 2 letter, there's also the alien registration number of your beneficiary. Immigration will issue your beneficiary an alien number, which will go on the green card on the NOA 2 letter. When you fill out the USCIS form I-134, when you fill out the affidavit of support, the 864, whenever you fill out this paperwork, they're going to ask for your beneficiary's alien registration number. You're like, where the heck do I get that? I don't know where to get that. What the heck? It's on the NOA 2 letter, right by the name. So you got another couple of months to go, Tony. Hang in there. In fact, I'll put more MAGA pixie dust on that, so we'll get it next month. How about that? This is the MAGA K1 Visa Green Card Super Lucky 2025 pixie dust. It works every time. And a Mountain Dew salute to boot. So next month in February, you'll get your NOA 2 letter. March at the latest. But you'll get it. Mr. Somebody, congrats on the snow today. No, I don't like snow. But Karina, she's like, what the heck? This is nice. Karina's never seen snow before. So we went for a walk in the snow in a blizzard. We walked around the neighborhood in a snowstorm. Now, Karina's never seen snow, and she said, can we go for a walk? I said, okay, come on, let's go. And she made me wear this hat and another hat and like 3 jackets, which is good. She's looking after me. And we walked around, and I even brought the camera with me and made some video of me freezing to death. Karina loved it. But it's only here for another day, and then tomorrow it's going to be like gone, probably, because it's going to get warm again. This is Florida. It gets warm here quickly. I don't know where this snow came from. I don't know. Well, it came from the clouds, right? Obviously. Let's see here. Christopher Reese, Tony Kersley, in my opinion, I would not be worried. That's right. Should be soon. Remember, patience is the key. Tony says, thank you. Patience is the key to this whole process. When I applied for Karina's K1 visa, okay, I got the NOA 1 letter in, 5 days. I applied for her K1 visa to Louisville, Texas, and in 5 days, there's the NOA 1 letter. Boom. Whoa, that was pretty darn quick. But it took another 24 months, or 22 months, to get the NOA 2 letter. But that was back during COVID, and the tail end of COVID. And all the government employees were still hiding under their desks with their face masks on, hiding from COVID. Okay, everybody was scared to sneeze. So it took longer for us, but we didn't worry about it because I knew the green card. I knew the K1 visa package I put together with a 2-year relationship with so much evidence in there. It was stacked to the hill. There was no space for anything else. I knew it was going to get approved, so I didn't worry about it. I just went about my day. And then I went to Colombia. Then I came back here. Then I went to Colombia, and I came back here. Then I went to Colombia. And then I got stuck in Colombia because of the COVID vaccination. President Biden, as soon as I got in Colombia, Biden said, if you don't have COVID vaccination, you can't get on a plane anywhere to fly overseas. I'm like, great. I just got to Colombia. I can't go back home. Okay. So I got a visa to live in Colombia. So Biden did, even though he tried to trap me in Colombia, it didn't work, dude. I enjoyed the 10 months I was with Karina. It was excellent. I built so much more evidence up for this 2-year green card application. which he has, by the way. Let's see here. Christopher Reese, LMAO, Mr. Somebody, we got some in North Carolina. This stuff is horrible. Snow sucks. You can't drive in it. You walk in it, your socks get wet, you get cold, your hands freeze. I mean, seriously. Let's see. International Sean, I scheduled the interview and exam before I got the instructions. I have the FTP letter and my fiance status is ready, but not received the packet yet. I'm worried because my approved 797 expires. No, your 790, your NOA2 letter isn't going to expire as long as you maintain contact with the immigration, the embassy. Karina's NOA2 letter, her 797 expired in September 16th of 2023. Her scary visa interview at the embassy in Bogota was November 16th, 2023. Her NOA2 letter had been expired for 2 months. But I was in constant contact with the military, with NBC and with the embassy. So that every time you maintain contact with immigration, they extend the NOA2 letter. You're still working the process. They know it's impossible to get this whole thing done in 4 months on the NOA2 letter. It takes longer than that to do. But as long as you maintain contact with the embassy, with emails, then you're good. So don't worry about your NOA2 letter expiring. Forget, that's not even an issue, okay? I schedule the interview and exam before I get the instructions. I have the FTP letter. Then the FTP letter should give you the directions and the instructions on how to schedule the visa interview. But haven't received the packet yet. Well, you got to look through your emails, Chris, International Sean. Look through your emails. And then also contact the embassy and ask them for the directions on how to schedule the visa interview. It's not difficult. I've made a video on how to even schedule the medical exam in Bogota, Colombia, specifically for fiancés in Colombia. Because Karina was living in Colombia 6 years. She got out of Venezuela. Bless her heart. But now we got a new president, and Maduro is probably going to start wanting to look for a new place to live other than Venezuela. And that's all I'm going to say on that. International Sean. And can I go with my fiance to the interview in Bogota? Yes, you can, International Sean. You can accompany your fiance from Medellin to the scary visa interview in Bogota, Colombia. It's not a problem to do. You can do that. But get up early. But remember, when you go into the embassy, you can't turn on your cell phone. You can't be taking pictures with your cell phone. You can't bring umbrellas in there. You can't, if you have a little cat with if you got your backpack and everything with all of her K1 visa stuff in it, they're going to dump it out and they're going to look through it. You're going to go through a magnetron, whatever it's called. They're going to scan you. Okay. There's a lot of tight security at the embassy, the U.S. Embassy in Bogota. So be ready. Don't bring an umbrella with you. Huh? And keys. Yeah. Well, don't bring. I held the keys. Don't bring keys with you or an umbrella. Let me see. Christopher, don't worry. There we go. International Sean, you got to check through your emails. At the worst case scenario, is you got to email the embassy in Bogota. It's easy to schedule an embassy. It's easy to do this. And you can go with your fiance to the interview in Bogota. Yes, you can. In the Philippines, no. If you're watching us from the Philippines, the embassy in the Philippines won't let you. The U.S. Embassy, they won't let you accompany. In England either. If you're watching us from England, I know some folks watching us from England. The U.S. Embassy in London won't let you accompany your sponsor cannot go with the beneficiary. But in Bogota, Colombia, you can. Let's see here. Tony Corsi, thank you, Christopher. Let me see. I'm working down through all these questions. Tamara, I'm sorry, Diego. I can't recall if you said to send the taxes that did not meet the requirement in my packet or just send the most recent one. When you file for the green card, the 2-year green card, you put your last tax return in there, and then you got to write down what your last 2 tax returns were in the past. So you got to have 3 years worth of information. 3 years worth of information for your for the 2-year green card on USCIS form I-864. Okay? But for the embassy interview, I would also include, I would have all 3 tax returns, all 3 of them, and then put a letter of explanation and say that your income is now way above the minimum income requirements because of whatever you want to put in there. Tell them why, what happened. Explain what happened, okay? You're good, Tamara. Include 3 years worth of tax returns for the visa interview, and you only have to include 1 year worth of tax returns for the green card application. But you got to include the amount of money you made in 3 years worth of income. If you can understand what I'm saying, there are 3 boxes you got to fill out on the 864. Your last tax return with a copy of your tax transcript and W-2s, etc., and then another box with how much you made before that, and another box with how much you made before that. JK one time, the doctor said, please complete your USCIS form online. Seriously, how lazy are these people getting? This is an official USCIS document, USCIS form I-693, and they're having you fill it out? That's terrible. You're paying for this service. When Karina had her medical exam, the doctor's administrative assistant filled out the I-693. All Karina did was sign it. But if they tell you to fill it out, but you got to do it online and print it, okay? If you don't have access to a computer or a printer, which I'm sure you can find, then fill it out in black pen. And then print your name at the top of each 14 pages. That's the job of the administrative assistant. That's why you pay them that money for the medical exam. But if they're making you do it, then they're freaking lazy. Ross Lee. Hello, Diego and Karina. What's going on, Ross Lee? It's a good name, Ross Lee, right there. Larry Piercy. Hi, kids.
Hello.
Where I don't see any baby goats here. Where are the baby goats at? Larry Piercy. I don't see any baby goats. Joe also won. JK one time. And Bethlehem Gurma. Yesterday I had a medical exam. I showed them my vaccination, yellow card, and they only gave me 1 more vaccination prescription, and I got the shot in the pharmacy. Well, there's a Mountain Dew salute to Bethlehem Gurma for getting all the vaccinations done. Because the vaccinations really are not fun at all. I remember in Colombia, in Bogota, Colombia, I was at the apartment. I went with Karina to get her one of her vaccinations. And then the next day when she woke up, her right arm was just like hurting. It's like it shut down. Her right here, it was all red. It was like a giant red bump because of this vaccination. And her arm was hurting for 3 days. So I know the vaccination sucked, but I was with Karina in Bogota, so I was able to help her with stuff, you know. But good job, Bethlehem Gurma. Mr. Somebody, if you are married and have children, then it will be automatic to remove her conditions and get citizenship later on. No, nothing is automatic. If you are married to a foreign national, the foreign national is in the United States on a probationary conditional 2-year green card. He or she is here by the good graces of the U.S. Congress temporarily. After 2 years, minus 3 months, you have to lift the conditions off that green card. Children or no children, there's no automatic nothing. Okay? It's nothing. You have to file to lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card, whether you got children or not, born in the United States, which is covered under the 14th Amendment. If you're born in the United States and you supposedly under the 14th Amendment, you get automatic citizenship. But listen, there's nothing automatic. If you don't lift the conditions off that 2-year green card, then your wife will be deported, or husband, whatever the case may be, children or no children. Immigration don't take emotion into this. They don't use their heart to process this. They use the law of the land. There's no emotion in this. Just imagine that USCIS is the Borg. Pretend they're the Borg from Star Trek, and they're going to assimilate you. Well, you want to assimilate them first by an excellent 2-year green card package to lift the conditions off of the green card. 90 days, within 90 days before the 2-year green card expires. So you look at the issue date on the 2-year green card, and 90 days before it expires, you file for the lifting the conditions. Children or no children, it's irrelevant. They don't care. Immigration of the Borg. Okay? There's no automatic removal of conditions. Don't think that way. If you think that way, you're going to get into big problems later on. JK one time, the doctor said, please complete the form online. Print your name at the top of each 14 pages. I tell you what, that person is so freaking lazy. Let me see. Vimy Lawler. Hello, Diego and Karina. What's going on, Vimy? Vimy Lawler's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got going on here. Ross Lee, Diego. Imagine that I have submitted Melissa's adjustment of status paperwork before April 1st, 2024. Got an RFE because of the financial part, okay. Submitted the required correction before May 10th. We are still waiting. May 10th, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. What? That's a pretty long time. You need to contact, you need to get in contact with wherever you sent that green card application and do a follow-up. You gotta stay in touch. Okay, write them a letter and sign it, date it, make a copy of everything, make a copy of the RFE paperwork and include it in the letter and do an inquiry into what's going on with your case. But the good news is they haven't sent you anything negative in the mail, so you're still in process. And the status says we have 10 more months to go. Okay, well, do what I said, and then if it says that, don't worry about it. She's still in America legally. She's in status. Did you get a work permit? Because that's good for 5 years. Vimy Lawler, does my husband need to do tax return together with me and my son? Yes. You are married. You got to file a joint tax return. Vimy, yes. You and your husband must do a joint tax return. Okay, including your son on the paperwork. Although the 1040 now is pretty easy to fill out. It's an easy form now. Chris and Emma, Larry Piercy idea is to buy hundreds of American flags and plant it over the beach sand. Chris and Emma, I've got hundreds of American flags in the closet, and Karina and I are going to go plant American flags on the beach and give a big salute to the Gulf of America. Karina has seen the Gulf of Mexico, and now the name is the Gulf of America. It's already been changed. It's already the Coast Guard name, the records, everything's changed to Gulf of America. Coastal charts, everything's changed. So Karina's going to get to plant these American flags with myself on the beach. Probably we'll go to Navarre Beach in Santa Rosa County. And we're going to give a Mountain Dew salute and a U.S. flag salute to the Gulf of America. Let's see here. Christopher, 10-4, putting NA on everything does not apply. Right. I made the video, and it's 100% accurate, but I could have added in there, put NA in the blocks that don't apply. That would have put the cherry on top of the cake. JK one time. One more question. My wife has changed her last name to mine, okay? On bank, driver license, everything, she added me to her bank account, but from the month, the direct paycheck. Okay, we'll go to a different account for some reason. What do you mean goes to a different account? When I put Karina on my bank account, the bank account number stays the same. The only number that she got different was on her credit card. She got her own credit card number. I got my credit card number. Karina has her credit card number. But the bank account stays the same as a joint owner or POD, payable on death. I don't see why it's going to a different account. You need to ask your bank what's going on. Francois Livingston, refresh my memory, please. Okay. Can I include my 401k and annuity as assets? Yes, you can. In the 485 and the 864, yes. Yes, Francois. Francois, you can do that. Annuities are an asset, is an asset. Mountain Dew salute to Francois for the question. Because questions like that help other people who may be in the same boat. So good question, Francois. Yes, you can. JK one time, but all her pay slips and everything is on the joint account. That's all you worry about. Is the direct deposits on the pay slips. Jewel, hello. Does anyone here been through the adjustment of status process? We have. Corinne and I went through the adjustment of status process. Have you included the form I-693 signed by a civil surgeon with your AOS packet? It's mandatory. On December 2nd, USCIS said you got to repeat the medical exam in the United States of America by a civil surgeon authorized by the U.S. State Department to conduct medical exams for green cards. Plus, they got to recertify the vaccination certificate. When Trump was president the first time around, you had to do that. So USCIS is prepared for the Trump administration coming into power. And so they were a month ahead, December, January, month ahead. And you must repeat the medical exam in the United States of America with a civil surgeon authorized by the State Department, who is headed now by Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State, bless his heart. So yes, you got to include that, Jewel, in the adjustment of status paperwork. If you don't, you're going to be getting an RFE. Where is it? They're going to look for it. And Karina's telling me I got to page up or do something here. Oh, I went too far down. Come on, Karina, you're running the show. Let's see here. Where am I at, Karina? International shown. The process of the interview easy in Bogota. It's anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. They care to look at your pictures and other evidence. They won't have to do that if you submitted all those pictures in your K1 visa application. I submitted about 50 or 60 pictures in the K1 visa application. The K1 visa got approved. It went to the NVC. The NVC shipped it to Bogota, Colombia in a DHL courier packet. They looked through the pictures in Bogota probably a couple of hours before Karina's interview or the day before. The stronger your K1 visa application, the quicker your visa interview. They will check the evidence. Yes. They will look at the pictures. Yes. If the immigration officer is bored, if the consular officer's got nothing else to do, they've got nothing on their plate, their whole day is pretty much free, they're going to look through your pictures. If they don't have any time, if they got 100 people behind them waiting for their visa interview, they've already made their decision probably an hour before you even arrive for the interview. So then they won't. But bring them anyway, just in case. Okay? I have photos, our tickets to Europe together, pictures of me proposing. Was that in Venice, Italy? Proof of finances. Bring it all to the interview. Bring everything. Maybe they won't look at it. Maybe they do. Here's what I learned about Murphy's Law, right? If you bring everything to the interview, they don't ask for it. If you don't bring it, they want it. That's Murphy's Law. So bring it. Vimy Lola to joint bank account. I'm still waiting for my social security card. The officer said it will deliver within a week. Yeah, it's going to come from Baltimore, Maryland, Vimy. We got married before December 30th. So I don't know if it has to include me in his tax return. Yes. But our child, he will be as a U.S. citizen. Vimy, if you got married in 2024, you have to be on a joint tax return for those taxes. And you're going to need to show that when you apply for the 10-year green card. I'm just waiting on Karina's paperwork, her W-2 to come in from her job. I got my stuff. I got my 1099s. Waiting for the bank statement, the interest earned in the bank, and then W-2 from Karina. Then I'm going to put together a joint tax return on the computer here, and I'm going to print everything up on 1040s. I'm going to make 3 copies. One for the 10-year green card, okay, application, and one for U.S. citizenship application, and then a copy for us, and then also for the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. But now President Trump has created an ERS, which is an external revenue service. He's created a government entity that's going to start collecting tariffs from countries that don't want to play ball with the United States. Okay, if you want to ship stuff to America, if you want to sell stuff to Americans, you're going to pay a tariff unless you have your border secure. So if Canada secures its border with the United States and they quit letting illegal immigrants in, and if Mexico secures its border with the United States and they stop letting illegal immigrants in, which they've stopped pretty much now anyway, because Trump basically closed the border, they won't get hit with such big tariffs. But the communist Chinese are going to get hit with big tariffs. I'm pretty sure. I know they are. Now, Trump's he's a capitalist. He's all about trading and doing business with countries. He's already told Putin to stop the war, that stupid freaking war between Russia and Ukraine. It's insane. Okay? Trump said stop killing each other. So we're going to have the ERS for the tariffs and the IRS for the tax returns that we have to fill out. It's just information for you guys. If you're coming to America, you need to learn about how our government's going to work. Vimy, you're going to file a joint tax return, okay? 1040. Thamara, page 7 lists the amount for each year. Right. But you only have to show 3 years. Larry Piercy is doing impressions of a sheep. Man, that's a pretty good one, Larry. And I think Chris and Emma want to know if you want to come stick flags on the beach with us and give a salute to the Gulf of America. I'm going to do it. And Eric Klein, my wife speaks Spanish, okay, and I speak English, okay. Will this be a problem getting her a spousal visa? No, it's not a problem. We are both taking language classes and we use Google to communicate, but we have a good relationship. Immigration, okay, I couldn't speak Spanish, but I lived in Bogota for almost 3 years, so I had to learn Spanish, right? I had to learn. Yo necesito aprender español. I had to learn. Okay? But if you don't know Spanish, if you can't speak Spanish and your wife doesn't speak English, it's okay. It's not going to deny you a visa. They may ask you a question, because remember, first of all, the consular interview in Bogota, you can have it in Spanish or English. You have a choice. And the embassy's not going to ding you because your wife doesn't speak English. It's no problem. Karina doesn't speak English. She does now, but a year ago she didn't. It was irrelevant to the interview. You're going to be fine, Eric Klein. Relax, okay? But we're going to put some mega pixie dust all over that English class, okay? Chris and Emil, I just got off of work. Larry, we have to go to the coast, put flags out because of change of Gulf of America. Right. I got probably 100 flags in the closet. Right here. Jayco one time. Also, by the time I file my adjustment of status, it will be 64 to 65 days. That's okay. After all waiting, that's okay. And the date border officer wrote on my visa is 2nd of February, even though I came to the U.S. on the 12th of November. JK one time. You got to look at your I-94. And there's a 90-day window of time on that I-94. You got to get married in those 90 days. If you got married in those 90 days, that's on the I-94. You're in status and you're good. Chris and Emil, yay, JK one time, and I plan to submit it on the 31st or the 1st of February. Very good. That's good. Ross Lee, yes, got the work permit and a driver's license. Okay. So the work permit is good for 5 years. I have sent messages and even called and spoke to an agent and was told that I'm within normal processing time. Okay, well then just put your feet up on the desk and relax. And I'm going to put more MAGA pixie dust on that RFE. If the agent said you're good, you're good. But it's not going to take 10 months. Okay, 10 more months. It's not going to take that long. Let me see. Solman Rias. OMG, hi Diego. I am in the United States. Estoy en Estados Unidos. Married and having a great life. Congratulations on Karina and you together. Well, Sulman Riaz, Mountain Dew salute, born benediction, and thank you. We're glad you're in America. Just don't come to Florida right now because the weather sucks. In the Panhandle, it was snowed in. Espe, greetings, Diego and Karina. F1 has a joint sponsor for the I-134. That's okay. Joint sponsor is married. Will checking off married cause any confusion? Maybe if assembled and labeled properly, probably not. Now listen, Espe, the sponsor, the U.S. citizen, fills out an I-134. Okay? That's the sponsor. Now you're going to put that aside. And then you're going to put all the financial documents with the I-134. The joint sponsor. Now the joint sponsor fills out his or her I-134. Okay? That will be, the best way for me to explain this would be for you to watch the video I just made on the I-134. When the sponsor fills out the I-134, and if they ask the sponsor if he or she is married, then you put married, but it's a joint sponsor, okay? The sponsor has to be single and legally free and able to marry, or divorced, or widowed, or in an annulment, right? The sponsor has to be legally free and able to marry the beneficiary. The joint sponsor doesn't have to be. The joint sponsor is just putting forward some extra cash. You got it? It's not going to be a problem. But what I would do is on page 10 of the I-134, on page 10, the additional information, write a little explanation in there about what you just said right here. Jewel, we submitted my husband's adjustment of status in March of 2024. Received an RFE a month later, submitted a response, and USCIS received it in April 2024. 9 months later, which is this month, 2025, we received another RFE. What was the other RFE for? Seriously. At least they didn't deny the dang thing, but you got a second RFE. Most unusual. Eric Klein, if my wife lives in Colombia and has no social security number, is there any way to file our taxes together? No. And we can have a joint bank account? No. Not if she lives in Colombia and doesn't have a social security number. In order for her to get a social security number, she has to have an I-94 and her passport. She has to have her Colombian passport and her I-94. Okay? But you cannot file a joint tax return without a social security number. Don't go down that rabbit hole where these illegal immigrants will get in these social security numbers. It's another name for it, but they will get in a social security number somehow from the Biden administration. Don't go down that rabbit hole, okay? You cannot file a joint tax return without a social security number. You cannot get a social security number without an I-94 and a passport and a K-1 visa, okay? Or actually it's going to be with you, it's going to be a spousal visa. When you get the visa interview done and you bring her to America, then get her the social security number. Then you can start filing tax returns together. Don't worry about it. You're good. Eric, do you understand what I'm saying? Just relax. The government's not going to ding you because she's in Colombia, because you can't get her a social security number without the I-94. Mark Lennon, do you really think they may get rid of the mandatory COVID vaccine? I think so. I think Trump's going to get rid of it. He never liked the mandatory stuff in the first place. And all those people, those 9,000 people that were kicked out of the U.S. military because they refused the COVID vaccination, Trump has said, you can come back in the military with full back pay and no more mandatory COVID vaccinations. He said that. So if you were in the military and you got kicked out because you refused the COVID, you can come back in now with back pay. Those are not my words. Those are coming out of the White House. Okay, and those words are pretty strong, right? But I got a feeling that the mandatory COVID vaccination will be going away under the Trump administration. Just be patient. Let him get to it. He's a busy guy. So Mark Lennon, do I think they will get rid of the mandatory COVID vaccination? Yes, they will. Bethlehem Gurma, we had a plan to apply my adjustment of status in March 5th. So do we have to add 2024 tax return? If you get married in 2025, then you can't. If you get married in 2025, when did you get married, Bethlehem? Did you get married in 2024? Bethlehem, if you got married in 2024, then you can file a tax return for this year. But I don't know when you got married. Chris and Emma, Larry, probably at Walmart right now, buying a bunch of American flags to put on the beach. He went ghost in the chat. Well, yeah, Larry went ghost. He probably went to Walmart, but I don't know if he went there, but he went somewhere to get American flags. Because we're going to do a MAGA salute to the Gulf of America. And April Flower, hi Diego, my husband worked, but we haven't applied for a green card yet. Okay, no problem. Will that cause anything to his application? No. My husband worked, and you haven't applied for the green card yet. Well, if your husband is working, that's what immigration want to see. Jewel, the first RFE, more supporting financial documents. Okay. Second RFE, I-693 incomplete, was not signed by the civil surgeon. Seriously. The civil surgeon forgot to sign the freaking medical paperwork. Did a bunch of vaccinations, including COVID booster, etc., polio. Hopefully the next mail is a green card. You'll get it, Jewel. You'll get the green card now. You would have been given a denial if immigration didn't want to give you the green card. You had the civil surgeon sign the paperwork. Here's what when I was with Karina in the doctor's office doing her medical exam for her green card application, the first thing I asked the administrative assistant was, "Hey, great job. Did the doctor sign the 693? Just curious." Yes, he did. And then she wrapped it up and put it in a sealed envelope. When you are going to your medical exam for your green card application in the United States of America, please ask the administrative assistant to look to make sure the doctor signed the freaking paperwork. Now, I know you shouldn't have to do that, but those are the times we are in. Jewel, I will put MAGA pixie dust all over your green card application. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. Larry Piercy's going to go get some American flags. And Chris and Emil said, great job, Larry. April Flower, he doesn't have the work authorization yet. No. You cannot work without it. Don't do that. Walmart accepted his employment with the I-94 and a passport. No, don't do that. Look on his Social Security card, April Flower. What does it say on his Social Security card? You cannot work without Homeland Security authorization. What is Homeland Security authorization? A work permit and then the green card. That is the authorization. If he starts work without a work permit or authorization from a green card, immigration will find out, especially under the Trump administration. They're deporting so many people today who are in this country illegally. Don't put your name on the radar working without authorization from Homeland Security. Wait for the freaking work permit. Okay? Trust me on this one. If he goes to work on an I-94, you know what's going to happen? Immigration's going to find out. Because the company where you said Walmart, whoever, they have to file, he has to pay FICA tax, he has to pay Medicare tax, and that goes to the federal government. And they're going to look and say, why is this guy paying FICA tax? He doesn't have an authorization to work in the United States yet. And then you're going to get a letter from immigration, a problem child letter. Do not work, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unless you have a work permit in your hand or a green card and a Social Security number. Okay? Listen to me, guys. I'm going to stop you from getting in trouble here. And let me see here. Larry says he's going. Great job, Larry, from Chris and Emil. April Flower, no, your husband cannot work without a work permit or a green card. Chris and Emil, no. April, he made mistakes. Don't do it. Bethlehem Gurma, we got married in 2025, then you cannot file a joint tax return till 2026. If you got married in 2025, the first time, the next opportunity you have to file a joint tax return is next year, between January and April of next year. Jewel, we mailed the I-693 today. Congratulations. Shots required. Polio. Ooh, varicella, Hep B, flu shot. What is flu season? Tdap 2 doses. Quantiferon for TB test. Tuberculosis before CSC your physical and sign the 693. You got it all done. Now you're just waiting on the green card, okay? April Flower, if he stops working now, will that still affect him? He shouldn't be working at all. He needs to stop. He's not authorized to work. He needs to stop. Immigration will maybe say, okay, you didn't know, and you stopped once you found out you were not allowed to do that. And you might just get a slap on the wrist and nothing's going to happen. But he can't work without a freaking work permit. Walmart is wrong. It's going to hurt him if he continues. I'm not trying to stop you from making money. You need money, right? Everybody needs cash, but you need to make sure you do it the right way. We have a new president, okay? Don't give him a reason to stop your green card. Bethlehem got married on January 4th, 2025. Congratulations. I'm going to talk 10 more minutes and I'm going to get something to eat. Bethlehem, you can file your first tax return in 2026 jointly. April Flower, how does Walmart hire him even though he only has an I-94 and a passport? That's a good question, right? They need somebody, they hire you. But they hired him incorrectly because they have to go in the computer and input his work permit documentation, authorization, which then goes to the feds, who then approve it. When Karina got her work permit, the first thing that her company did was put her information in a computer, which sent it to Tallahassee, who then sent it to the feds, who then said she's good to go. And they hired her. And then they got her, when she got her green card, it really wasn't really necessary to go back and update anything because all the information on the green card is the same as the work permit, basically, the alien number. But Karina was chomping at the bit to go to work. I'm not going to go to work, make some money, right? And I don't blame her. But she waited for the work permit. He needs to quit work, tell Walmart, I'm sorry, I'm not authorized to work here until I get my work permit. And then ask Walmart, will you rehire me when I get my work permit? I got to follow the federal law, okay? And then that puts your husband in the good graces with the U.S. government. Oh, you found out you weren't supposed to, you didn't know, and then you quit working. Very good. We'll give you a mulligan. But if he knows he's not supposed to be working, then he's going to get in trouble. He'll get a mismatch from immigration. A mismatch. He's working without authorization. It's called a mismatch. It's better to lose a job at Walmart than to lose a green card, right? International Sean, should I go with my fiance to the interview in Bogota? Yes. I have a lot of evidence, but my Spanish is not fluent. You don't have to be fluent in Spanish. They speak English at the embassy in Bogota. And her English isn't either. Well, then do the interview in Spanish. Did they ask you and your wife's questions together? I was sick in bed when Karina went to her scary visa interview at the embassy in Bogota, Colombia. I had mountain sickness. You wouldn't believe. I was sick as a dog. I was sick in bed. And the flu. I had the flu. I had the mountain sickness. Okay, I had double jeopardy. So Karina got up 4 o'clock in the morning and went to her visa interview in Bogota. And the embassy apparently knew I was here. They said, to Karina, where's your husband? No, excuse me, where's your sponsor? And she said, oh, he's at home sick in bed. They said, okay. So they wrote on the computer, I was at home sick in bed in Bogota in the apartment that we rented together from Mr. Fernando. Right? So Karina went to her visa interview and they asked her, do you want to do the interview in Spanish or English? She said Spanish. And they interviewed her in Spanish. They asked her 12 questions and she passed every test. And they approved her green card. Her K1 visa. Dang, guys. They approved her K1 visa at the embassy interview. They interviewed her in Spanish because she didn't speak English. They said, okay, no problem. Let's do this in Spanish. And they did great, and she did great. And here she is. Don't sweat the interview. English or Spanish is irrelevant. If your fiance doesn't speak English, do the interview in Spanish. The embassy's not going to have a problem with that at all. And they asked Karina 12 questions. They didn't ask me any questions. I was at home dying from mountain sickness. Remember, Bogota is 10,300 plus feet above sea level, and my body doesn't like that. So I was always tired in Bogota. But this isn't a pity party here. This is a let's get your green card and K1 visa party. International Sean, how long did it take for you to receive your packet after the status was sent to the ready status? 11 days. You are a lifesaver. You have helped me so much. Thanks for doing this. God bless you. International Sean, listen. Mountain Dew salute. I want to see you get reunited with your beautiful fiance from Medellin, Colombia. Bring her to America and get married and start your lives together. And you're going to do it. And I'm going to help you. You can do this. And what I would do is email the embassy in Bogota and ask them for the information. Ask them for the packet 3, packet 4 email. Ask them for the packet 3, packet 4 email. It will tell you how to do everything. I got it right here on this computer. Oh, here it is. Thank you, Bogota. Click on this link, do this. Click on this link, do this. Click on this link, pay the visa fee, the consular fee. Boom, there's a calendar. A calendar showed up. There was only one interview date available, November 16th. Boom, I took it. I'm on it. There was only one day available for biometrics. Boom, I took it. The consular fee is $265, and it includes the biometrics. When your fiancée goes to the biometrics, she must bring the DS-160 with her and her passport. The DS-160 confirmation page. So if you're going to do the DS-160 for her in the United States and then send it to her, you can do it. But just say you help fill that out. But she has to bring the DS-160 and the passport to the biometrics. To schedule the medical exam, she's got to have the list. She must have the list of travelers so that the medical doctors can see that she's approved for a medical exam from the embassy. You get all that information from the MVC and from the embassy. You just got to look for it. And we did it. Here's Karina. Chris and Emma, Larry Percy, can you get a limo? A limo. Get a ride to Walmart to buy flags. Go to the beach and plant flags. Well, right now it's 7:27 p.m. Central Time, and there's no sun out there. So how is anybody going to see you? Bethlehem Gilmer, so I don't have to add 2024's tax return. You have to, you don't put your name on it. You have to include the 2024 tax return with the 2-year green card application. But your name is not going to be on there as a beneficiary because you were married in 2025. So you write a letter of explanation and say, I am not filing a joint tax return here because we got married in 2025 and the IRS won't let us file a joint tax return until 2026. You write a little letter and explain it. And then both of you sign it and date it. And you got it covered. That's how easy it is. But immigration attorneys don't tell you to do that. Companies that process your green card applications, they don't tell you to do that, right? They take your money and they maybe help you to the best of, but I'm telling you how to do this where you don't make any mistakes. So Bethlehem, Gurma, you don't file a joint tax return, but you must include the last tax return with the green card application for 2024, even though your name's not on there as a beneficiary. Don't worry about it. Just explain why. The IRS said I cannot file a joint tax return until 2026. Larry Piercy, Chris, don't have to get limo, already have one. Larry's on call, and Chris Nemo is laughing. And what flag is that? The flag from Thailand he's got up there? That looks like a Thai flag. I can't see. My eyes are terrible. Okay, I've been talking an hour and 30 minutes. Today's Wednesday, January 22nd, 2024. We're snowed in. I'm surrounded by UFO posters. I got the Venezuelan flag over here. I got the American flag over here. And we are checking out to get something to eat. I got a Colombian flag here, and we will be back on Saturday, on Saturday at 6 p.m. Although maybe if you want, I'll do a live stream during the week. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you want me to do a live stream, I'll do one during the week. And Chris and Emil, you say 2024 tax return for green card. Chris and Emil, if you got married in 2024, if you got married in 2025, you cannot file a tax return jointly with your beneficiary. Okay? But you can if you got married in 2024. You can file a 2023 tax return. And before I confuse everybody, I'm going to log off and we'll be back on, hold on, Chris and Emma, repeat that because of commercials. Well, we got to YouTube pays for this channel by running commercials, right? So I can do all this for free and save you $4,000 or $5,000. And all you got to do is put up with a freaking commercial. If you got married in 2025, you cannot file a joint tax return for 2024. Can you hear me now, Chris and Emma? Where's the beef? You remember that commercial? Where's the beef? If you got married in 2025, you cannot file a joint tax return until 2026. Okay? You can't do it. You got it? That's the answer right there. You understand it? Excellent. See you guys on maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll come on tomorrow.